All right, welcome, listeners. Welcome to this episode of the Unsecurity Podcast. This is episode 157. The date is December 3rd, 2021. We're coming up towards the end of the year in holiday shopping season and all that good stuff. Joining me is my good friend, Brad Nye. Brad, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Can't believe it's already December. It's like, what happened?
I'm telling you, man, I don't know if this work from home thing makes life go by faster. It seems like it does
But
to
yeah,
me.
I think part of it for me, you don't get that. I mean, and it's not anyone else, but that break, right? That commute is gone, and that kind of broke things up.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that's probably what it is.
Yeah, there was always that clear delineation between work time
Mhm.
and home time. And now it's like, well, work time and home time are kind of the same time
Yeah,
almost.
I do make a effort to go up and get changed after work. Like I would have it if I was coming home.
Yeah.
Wear jeans and change it to like sweats or whatever, just as that mental like click, switching over. Otherwise, yeah,
Right.
what's the difference?
Yeah. So happy belated Thanksgiving to all the listeners. We didn't record last week. We had, the holiday and then, yeah, some other issues, which I'm not going to go into right now. But we're all good now. It's good to be here.
Yep.
The topic for the show today is we want to talk about holiday shopping scams, talk about some of the common scams. Hopefully, listeners will come away with some tips. Now, if you're an information security person who's been doing this for a long time, some of these might seem like just
Trivial.
remedial,
Yeah.
right? But it's we're all susceptible to this. It doesn't matter how many years of experience you have. It takes one click, it takes one time to not slow down a little
hmm
bit, and you become a victim too. So even me, even you, uh,
I
we're all
mean,
susceptible to this.
well, and especially those of us that have, published stuff or online or, have our emails out there a little bit more. Yeah, we're
Mhm.
definitely, we've seen spoofed email coming from you, from John, the
I know.
president. And so, yeah.
Well, yeah, I was just in a security studio meeting prior to this one, and I was telling the team, reach out to me anytime you need anything I can do to help. And they're like, so what about these gift cards? Joking. I'm like, no, I don't do gift cards. So
That's funny.
because yeah, I think when you're visible, you're a target.
hmm
So we are targets. It would, but the motivation. So I like to think about, when you talk about holiday shopping scams, and you talk about most of the motivations for attackers, it's money.
Yep.
So think of all the ways that somebody could get to your money. And then we're going to focus on specifically holiday shopping. So, what are the ways that an attacker could get my money?
Yeah.
Online, in person, you know.
Yeah, I think one of the ones that we've seen a lot this time of year, and it's cyclical, that it doesn't go away, is the fake Amazon email. Hey, your order has shipped. Here's your $400 TV. Your account will be charged when it's shipped. And click here to log in. To check your order status or whatever it is.
Mhm.
And I mean, if you're not paying attention, it's chaotic as it is around the holidays. Add in with the pandemic and everything else, if you're not paying attention, it's really easy to be like, wait, I didn't work. What? What is that? And then they get your credentials.
Yeah, exactly. There's that think of the emotions that make people do things that they normally wouldn't do, right? So fear, sense of urgency, fear of missing out is a big one. Like, oh my gosh, there's this awesome sale.
Right.
I don't want to miss out. I can get maybe these Beats headphones for, 99 bucks.
Right.
When
Yeah.
I've been shopping for them and they've been 200.
I mean, the thing to remember, it's the same as real life, right? Physical. If it seems too good to be true, it probably is. Just because it's
Right.
online doesn't change that fact.
Well, and yeah, exactly, man. And if it probably is, then just assume that it is.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
it. Yeah. If it's half the price that I've seen everywhere else, and it's not a reputable retailer.
Well, or if it's like I said, maybe it's spam that has phishing that has come in that appears to be from, Target or Walmart or whatever, Best Buy. I think the best advice on that is if you get one of those emails that appears to come from one of those companies, don't click the email. Go ahead and type their website into the browser. If that's a real deal, it's going to be fairly prominent on their website.
Exactly. Well, I think nowadays, it's the same attack, right? The most the best return on the investment for an attacker is to use email, is to use a phishing attack.
Hmm.
I can do it in bulk. If my message is convincing enough, somebody is going to click on that link and give me their credentials. And then from there, I'll be able to use those credentials to get your credit card data. Or maybe the phishing site is set up as a fake shopping cart
Hmm.
and you just type in your credit card data. Now, chip and PIN isn't going to do crap to
Right.
protect you against that because all I need is your number, expiration date, and CVV code.
Yep.
So, keep that in mind. And if now is not the time to master how to identify phishing attacks, uh, I don't know when. I mean, I don't know what you'd be waiting for.
Right. And, with the other thing to be aware of is we've got so much going on with this new Omicron variant and the Delta variant's going crazy with the pandemic. So people are going to be overloaded with, let's be honest, phishing emails or spam emails regarding that. And
Hmm.
add on top of it. So yeah, if you got to be careful. Just don't rush through this stuff, or
Yeah,
just delete anything that comes in that you're not expecting.
right. Yeah, stay alert. Stay alert to those phishing attacks, right?
Hmm.
Go with this sort of default skepticism with emails. Like, you know, I'm going to validate and verify. Now, the way I do online shopping is I never shop from an email. I don't care what the deal is. It could be the best deal
Oh
that
yeah,
ever
yeah,
lived.
I'm with you. If I see something, like I said, I'll go to the site.
Right. So that's a great, piece of advice. Don't click on any links for shopping. Just go to the site yourself. Type in the URL yourself.
Yep. I mean, honestly, it's kind of annoying. I get the emails from Costco or wherever. I'm like, oh my god, leave me alone.
Oh, for sure.
I'll go to
For
your
sure.
site
And
and look if I'm interested in finding something. If I'm not looking for it, quit bugging me.
yeah, and be leery because I know, some people will give advice, well, just click the unsubscribe link and unsubscribe. I don't want to remind people that that's another link, right? So an attacker can easily, use the same technique on the unsubscribe link.
Yep. You've now validated your live email address that clicks emails.
Right. So if you know how to validate that that email is legitimate, that's a good idea before you click that unsubscribe link. Um, Otherwise, just delete the email.
Yep.
And if you know how to add inbox rules to your
I
mailbox,
have so many
you know,
box rules.
I know, but they're super useful.
Yeah.
I mean, I have probably a few hundred emails a day that get filtered by my inbox rules, and I never see them, which I don't want to. So that's
Yep.
good.
Yep. 100%.
So, and you mentioned, and I think it's really important to point out, we're all super busy. It's super chaotic. There's so many things going on. Schools are opening, schools are closing, mask mandate, vaccine mandate. I've got work to do. There's attacks going on all the time. I mean, it's chaotic,
Hmm.
right? It gets more chaotic during the holiday season because maybe you've got meals to plan, you've got trips to plan, oh my God, it just goes
Additional
on and on.
stress. Yeah.
One bit of advice that I gave my own wife, because she does most of the shopping, I'm not much of a shopper, is before you sit down to go shopping, just take a minute. You know, you use this time to do shopping. don't use this time to check email, and I'll shop while I'm checking email, or
Mm-hmm.
I'll shop while I'm doing these other things. Just make that time that you're doing online shopping dedicated to online shopping.
Yep.
That way you're in that frame of mind and you're not thinking about all these other things that are going on. Um, it helps you to maintain focus.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Don't be multitasking while you're doing that shopping. Pay attention to what you're doing.
Yeah. So that's some good advice. And I think another thing with online scams is there's a bunch of retailers that pop up online all over the place this time of year. And they're actually there a lot of them are there all year, but uh, that the email's legit. It's not really, necessarily a phishing email, but the retailer is shady.
Mm-hmm.
They either can't deliver what you've ordered, so you make an order and you never get your product, right?
Right.
Maybe they had whatever issues. But then there's also the times when you make your order and they have no intention of fulfilling your product. So it's almost still like a phishing attack.
Yep. Yep.
So be careful with those. Or I think another thing with some of these unfamiliar retailers is they may be a legitimate business. Uh, they just don't take security seriously.
Yeah. Oh, and I can guarantee you that's the case because we see that all the time.
Yep.
One other thing I think that I do is either I'll create a virtual card and use that, or
There
use
you
a
go.
credit card. I don't use my debit card online.
Great advice.
I with a credit card you have the ability to do chargebacks if it's there's issues, and also it's not linked directly to my bank account. They're not going to wipe out all my money, right?
Well, exactly. And the investigations with credit cards
Oh, they don't mess
go
around.
faster.
Yeah.
When they go faster than they do with your bank. You may have to wait a couple weeks to get that money back.
Right. Yeah.
That's great advice. The standard check, check those websites to make sure it's HTTPS. That should come second nature. And actually, most of your browsers now will, report that this is not HTTPS. But pay attention again.
Yeah.
Like you said, use a credit card. If you're using shopping apps, nowadays, we're all shopping from our phones, our iPads, applications that are provided. Be careful with that too, especially if you're on the Android, platform, because it's more of an open source platform.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'll be honest, it can happen to anyone. A personal story. My wife's going to kill me, but that's okay. Probably eight
Hmm.
years ago, she had ordered Chinese food online, and she didn't catch it. We had gone to the store. We had been in the restaurant. It was legitimate. It was their site. It wasn't HTTPS, and she didn't catch it. And I look at the transactions on a regular basis, and a couple of days later, I found there was two transactions for other Chinese foods in the same city. And I was like, called her and I was like, did you order Chinese food to the hospital? And she's like, no. I'm like, all right. Reach out to the bank right away. So it got that they did the investigation, and changed all our account information very quickly. But yeah, it was probably 2 or 3 days that we didn't have a card, and we had to wait for that money. Luckily, it was a very small amount. But kind of the lesson learned is make sure you're looking at your bank account for suspicious activity. Right?
Exactly, and do that all year round.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
My my wife does that. She's kind of the banking person in our house, and she checks it multiple times a day.
Yeah.
Because it's so easy to do, right? You have the app right on your phone. You open the app and see what the balance is. I mean, it's just simple.
Mm-hmm.
The And I think another thing along the people don't like my own home. My card gets various cards. I deal with compromised cards in my own personal life probably 4 times a year, 4 or 5 times a year.
Mm-hmm. And I'll
And
say,
most of the time it's the retailer I did business with who lost my information,
yep,
not something we did.
yeah. And I will say that most well, the credit card companies have gotten much better at identifying that fraudulent activity. You know,
Right.
we had one when we traveled and we paid for gas, halfway across the country. And within 5 minutes, I had alerts on my phone of, both from a text and with the app of, we identified this activity. Can you confirm it? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I was like, wow, really?
Well, I think a lot of times people don't, you kind of take for granted what the bank is doing for you. There's nothing wrong with calling them and asking them for their processes, procedures, for how they're protecting your
Hmm.
credit card information. They have documentation to share with you, including the number that you can call when you are going on travel if you want
Yep.
to avoid the inconvenience of having your card declined.
Yep. Yeah.
Every bank's got different process for that.
Yes, absolutely. And like I said, it's in their best interest to educate you. So yeah, take advantage of it.
It's a 5-10 minute call tops, and uh, you both end up learning. The bank gets good feedback on the types of questions that they're getting asked on a regular basis, and you learn more about what the bank's doing with your money.
Hmm. Yeah. It's just, I mean, it's the same as what we talk about from a security perspective, within an organization. I'd rather spend that 5-10 minutes proactively looking at something and working with a user that reported it versus the God knows how many hours after the fact.
Right. Well, and the bank loses money.
Same exact thing. Yeah.
Yeah, good point. So I think another one is don't overshare. So when you're doing shopping online or even at the checkout, if they're asking for your email address,
Hmm.
you know, I don't give them my email address. I'm like, I don't want to sign up for whatever it is you want me to sign up for.
Yeah, definitely not, in person shopping. I don't, online, you don't really have a choice. But
Right. Online, you have to.
if I create an account, I usually am pretty good. Sometimes I miss it, but usually pretty good at opting out of everything as quickly as possible.
Exactly. And I think, if you're doing business online and they're asking you for your date of birth, you don't
Yeah.
need you don't need my date of birth to create an account unless I'm buying something that's age specific, like alcohol, I suppose, or something.
Right.
Um, Never, ever, ever, ever provide your social security number. If anybody that you're shopping with online is asking for your social security number, no.
Right.
I mean, it's even though you could say your social security number is already out and about, because it is, but it's a telltale sign that this retailer doesn't take my security seriously when you're asking for something like that.
Right. Another thing, and this is a year-round thing, but definitely something to be more aware of right now. If you get a call from your credit card company or your bank, and they ask you to verify your account information or your secret information, ask for an account or a case number, or how do I get back in touch? How do I reference this? And if it's legit, I've done that, and they're like, oh yeah, I totally understand. Here's the number you reference. Here's my name. Just call the main number, and you can follow the prompts and get back. Okay, did it? No problem.
Right.
They don't care.
Well, no, in the rule of thumb, that's always worked, whether it be phishing, email scams, um, e- email, phone call scams, texting, whatever, is never give out sensitive information on a communication channel that you did not initiate.
Hmm.
So if I get a text from somebody that's asking for sensitive information, no, I did not initiate that communication.
Right. Yeah.
Uh, Same thing with a phone call, same thing with an email, any communication.
Yeah. I mean, and we talk about it. Keep it simple, right? Like, just
Hmm.
don't make it more complicated on yourself. Don't click on anything, and don't give out your information. That's going to stop the vast majority of the attacks.
Exactly. Another thing, gift cards. I know gift cards get purchased quite a bit this year. Now that's an easy scam for scammers to scam. Oh, for me, I always buy my gift cards in person.
Mm-hmm.
I will go to the retailer to buy gift cards. I will not buy gift cards online ever.
Right. Yeah. We had that issue internally. We got just a thank you gift card so we could go buy a turkey or whatever. And like people were like, I'm not, nobody clicked it. So we actually had to mention in the all company meeting, like, hey, this was legit. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's an awesome sign. I mean, that's a secure culture, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was hilarious to see.
Yeah, that email you got, that was real. It's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And even then, it's like, well, show me a picture of the email that you're referring to, just so I know that we're talking about the same one.
Yep. Yeah. And we had, obviously we have the surveys and stuff. So they've gotten better. So now they send out an email saying, hey, look for this email. Here's what it's going to say. It is legit.
Yep. Yeah, and if you have any questions, contact us here. The another one is, when you do order online, make sure that where you're having your gifts or things delivered is a secure location.
Yeah.
There's just tons of theft from doorsteps everywhere.
Yeah. Be aware of when it's being delivered. I mean, working from home now, unless I'm in a meeting, I get the package like as soon as the truck leaves. Just
Yep.
because I'm here anyway. So, and it gives me an excuse to get up and kind of stretch.
Yeah, totally, man.
Anything.
So, I mean, even if your location is more secure than who you're giving the gift to, maybe have it shipped to you
Mm-hmm.
and then do another shipment. I mean, I know it depends on the value of the gift, obviously. If it's a cheap gift, it's more work than it's worth. But if it's an expensive gift and your physical location is more secure than who you're giving the gift to, have the gift shipped to you,
Mm-hmm.
repackage it in an inconspicuous box, and ship it to them.
Yeah. Well,
An
and
Amazon box looks really, really appealing to an attacker.
yep. And it's funny that reminded me of if you've moved, update your shipping address. We,
Mm-hmm.
I had something from the people that lived here prior to us. We've been here 3.5 years. Arrive, and it was a fairly expensive electronic, and I was like, "What? I didn't order this." Brought it inside, realized it was for them. I left it inside, and they finally figured out that it was missing. So they came
Yep.
over. They're still in the area, but I was like, I'm not going to leave this outside.
No. If you're so inclined, read privacy policies, on websites, or just validate, if you're shopping at a retailer that you haven't shopped at before, validate that they have one,
Mm-hmm.
even if you don't want to read it, because that does lend some credibility to the retailer.
Yeah, and they're going to be on their website. Right? And remember, we had that. Um, what was it? The terms of service. Oh shoot, I can't remember what it was every offhand. But we talked about that a while back. That's a good place to go to review that. TOS
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
DR, whatever,
yeah, I remember that site.
PLDR, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yep, that is a good place.
go there and just see what they say. Right? They've already done the hard work of interpreting it for you.
Let me see if I can find that somewhere. Yeah,
I know
we'll
I've
put
got.
that. We'll mention that next week. But it's the website that allows you to essentially just type in search the retailer, and they've already done the research on the privacy policies and things for you.
TOSDR.org.
TOSDR.org.
Terms of service
There you
didn't
go.
read. There you go.
Perfect. Another thing, verify senders before opening your e-cards. I don't like e-cards. I think e-cards are just a super easy way to steal your money.
Well, or viruses.
Yeah. So if you do get an e-card, if you sent me an e-card, I would just delete it.
Mm-hmm.
No offense, but I don't open e-cards. I don't use e-cards. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, just little extra scrutiny. Verify the sender of that e-card. Make sure that that e-card is legit before opening it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Send the person an email. Outside of that, don't reply to that one, but send them an email or text and say, "Hey, did you send me a card?"
Yep, yep, totally. Always keep your systems up to date. So if you whatever system you're going to be doing online shopping on, update the operating system, update all your applications, update your antivirus software.
Mm-hmm. I mean, on a mobile device, your iPhone or your Android, honestly, I would set it to download and install your apps, right? Install those
Hmm.
updates so you don't forget,
Yep.
and check to make sure it's
And
doing it.
right, and this is a good time to do that. A good time of year, right? A good time of year is all right. I got maybe it's Thanksgiving and I'm about ready to sit down and do some online shopping. I don't have work today, hopefully. Let's take 15, 20 minutes tops, to just make sure everything's up to date on my systems. And while I'm at it, maybe I'll check my wife's systems as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if you make it a habit, right? Like now, my kids all update their own. Zach comes to me and is like, you know, the iOS update. He's like, "What is this? What do I should do this, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, good job."
Well, and I
Make
mean,
it.
that's awesome parenting, man. I mean, every parent should be doing that, teaching our kids to be good digital citizens.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, he'll come if he gets a new game and it pops up with the terms of service or whatever. He won't just click OK ever. He comes over and asks, "Is it okay if I do
That's
this?"
awesome.
I'm like,
I love that.
"Wait, we've brainwashed him." No, he's aware, right? I mean,
Those are
you
good
have
habits.
to. Yeah, you have to at this point.
Well, if you were to boil down what security is, in terms of my own protection, it comes down to situational awareness.
Mm-hmm.
Where am I at? What am I doing? Why am I doing it? What do I expect? I mean, it's just paying attention. And that's why I think it's important before you sit down to go, do your shopping, that you actually dedicate this time to shopping because your situational awareness is heightened on what it is you're doing at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not, because you see people walking around all the time, down the street on their phones, not paying attention to anything that's going on around them.
Yep.
You might as well put up a big red flag and say, hey, attack me, assault me.
Yeah, I saw somebody on their phone walk into the back of a car a couple weeks ago, and I couldn't stop laughing.
It's
But
insane.
you know, luckily it was a parked car. They just weren't paying attention, and bam. But I mean,
Well, people walk out in the middle of streets.
right? Why would if I'm in a parking lot where there's moving vehicles, I'm paying attention to what's going on because we see that. What if the person is in their car texting? Anyway, yeah, situational awareness.
Situ- it's huge, man. I mean, your phone can wait until you get to the place you're going to sit down and open it up. Your fear of missing out on that text or that email
Oh,
or the new.
I put my phone like away in the car. I don't have it out. Right. If
And
it,
I drive a big truck, right? So I sit way up so I can see inside the cabs of most vehicles.
oh, it's
And
disturbing.
I swear from here to the office, which is maybe 30 miles, um, I will see, if I were to count, I'd probably see 20-ish
Oh, yeah,
people texting while they're driving.
easily. Yeah. It's
It pisses me off because you're not paying attention to what you're doing.
right. And, tying it all back together. Like we talked about it, what you do at home is what you do at work. Same thing here. If you're being that unaware driving your car, I'm pretty willing to bet that you're doing the same thing online. Right.
I know. And the father part of me wants to say, when somebody does get defrauded or, becomes a victim, it's like,
Well,
don't come crying to me.
I told you.
Pay attention.
Right. Right. Yeah, there is that kind of thing because we've been preaching it for so long. It's like, well, we told you, but
And
obviously I
then,
don't want
yeah,
anybody to go through it, but I'm with you though.
well, it's like this. If I were to teach my kids and I have instructed you, right? We're clear. you understand good habits and bad habits and what's right and what's wrong, and you fail at that and you get hurt, it's on you.
Yeah.
Now, if you followed all the good habits and still a bad thing happened, well, now I'm more inclined to
Yeah.
help you.
Exactly.
And we need to get to that point at some point in this whole mix in industry, because if it doesn't hurt, nobody's going to change.
Right. Yeah.
All right. So and then the last thing that I thought was, 100% dead on, you should always be doing this, is you should always be checking your online statements. You should always be checking your credit reports.
Mm-hmm.
If you haven't put a freeze on your credit reports, do that. It's really easy to unfreeze your credit report. It's not like I'm out, taking out loans on a daily basis.
Right. And you can set it to automatically. It's just a temporary lift of the freeze, so you don't even have to remember to go back and put it back on.
Right. Yeah. So all really good tips. Just to summarize again, phishing, pay attention. Do your homework with the unfamiliar retailers, right? Anybody that you haven't done business with before, or a little bit of like, I'm not sure, investigate. Check websites for that HTTPS. Use a credit card versus using a debit card. Use a virtual card is even better, because then I don't have to get my physical card replaced.
Right.
It's just the digital card. So if you have the opportunity to do that on your credit cards, go ahead and do that. Use your shopping apps. Be careful which apps you're using to do shopping. Make sure that those are legit. Do not overshare any of your information. Don't give away data that they don't need to do the transaction.
Right.
The only thing you really need to do my transaction is a way to contact me, where the shipment is going, where the my credit card data, and that's basically it.
Yep.
So don't overshare. Purchase, if you're going to use gift cards, go get those. In my opinion, go get those at a physical retailer. Don't do it online.
Agreed.
Make sure you're shipping your gifts to a place that will be secure if you expect them to be available to you when they get there. Because one of the things about recourse on that is the retailer doesn't give you your money back. You don't get your money back.
No.
It's gone.
Yep.
Check privacy policies if you can. We give you tosdr.org is a great place to go if you're not interested in that. Don't use e-cards, please. Even if you're like so pro e-card, just stop. Make sure your systems are all updated, your applications are all updated. That's something you should be doing always, but especially this time of year. And then check your online statements.
Yep. There we go.
All right. Anything else to add on that?
I don't think so.
I guess if you do get defrauded, I would suggest that you do report it to the FBI Internet Crime Complaint Center. So if you just Google FBI Internet Crime Complaint Center, otherwise known as IC3, you'll find the place. And don't report it expecting the FBI to do an investigation for you. Report it so they have some statistics.
Yes. Yeah.
And maybe the FTC as well if you feel like it. All right, last thing, and we've got we're running a little bit over, but we wanted to talk about kind of some big news in our industry real quick. Ubiquiti.
Yeah.
So if you don't know who Ubiquiti is, they're a network device manufacturer, maker, provider, and they got scammed from the inside.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was. That's what we say. Insider threat. You have an insider threat program.
Yeah. And the good thing about this one was the guy was caught. His name is Nicholas Sharp. He was indicted.
Apparently not as sharp as he thought. Huh.
No, he's actually, Nicholas Sharp is actually Nicholas Dumb.
There you
go. Because stole lots and lots of data and then went back to the company posing as somebody who was anonymous and said, hey, I've got this data. Pay the $2 million ransom or I'm going to release it.
Yep.
And then to be even more bold, he goes on, with Brian Krebs and,
He went.
you know,
He came back a second time to.
as a whistleblower.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and he said something to the company saying, "Hey, there's still a back door. Pay me another 25 Bitcoin, and I'll eh, tell you about it." And then then he went to Krebs. So he was acting as a whistleblower as he was actively defrauding the
Attacking.
company. Yeah.
Yeah. So indicted, and thank God he should be indicted. Now, the thing that people don't realize about these things, which is sad because I think we should put the foot down on this guy. I think he should get the
Yeah.
maximum sentence possible. I think we need to make an example because there are too many people in this running around who aren't being held accountable for the crimes that they commit. And so when you think, oh, it's a victimless crime, BS, it's not a victimless crime.
Right.
The the company itself, Ubiquity, lost $4 billion in market capitalization. And for people who don't know what that means people who had invested in this company lost that amount of money. Now, some of it may be recovered over time, right? Assuming that
Right.
the company's stock value rebounds. But even then, it's not victimless because you had to pay for the investigation, you
Hmm.
had all the downtime, you had God knows what else happened. And I know some people say, well, I don't invest in the stock market. I'm like, if you have a 401k, you
Yep.
do invest in the stock market. If you bought other types of investments
Yeah.
that buy stocks.
Yep. It's
So
it's all linked.
yep.
Um,
So don't say this is victimless because it doesn't hurt. It's
right.
it's just the hurt was spread out against so many people, but you're paying more for things, and you know
Hmm.
it does hurt. So charged with 4 counts, facing a maximum sentence of 37 years in prison if he's found guilty. If he is found guilty, and after due process, I like that we do that. He deserves his day in court.
Yep.
However, if he is guilty, I say give him every 37 of those years and don't let him out of prison
Right.
because
Right.
somebody needs to, at some point, there has to be a deterrent.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Absolutely.
if I keep saying that, well, it was just this, let's let him out after 12 months, nobody learns.
Yeah.
So
No, I'm with you. Um,
don't break the law. That's
yeah.
the rule.
There you go. Easy.
Most of the time, unless I don't know what the law is. All right, man. You got any shout outs?
Yeah. I'm gonna give shout out to my son's teachers and kind of we had a meeting, just checking on progress, and they're just really amazing. It's so good to know he's in good hands. So
That's awesome, man. I'm going to give a shout out to just the people behind the scenes who are working all the time that we never know about, we never
right.
hear about.
Yeah.
While we're at Thanksgiving dinner or Christmas shopping, they're sitting behind a console, they're racking a new device, they're doing whatever the hell they're doing, and they don't get credit for it
Right.
like they should.
Yep.
All right, that's it. We'll see you next week.